So on the left half, you're going to be illustrating antibody-mediated immunity. And on the right half, you'll be illustrating cell-mediated immunity. Oops. So these are two processes that occur in your body whenever your body becomes infected with anything. We divide it in half, but both of them actually are triggered by the same stimulus. Both of these processes start when something happens to your body. What's going to happen that will start these two processes? Pathogen, something foreign will enter. So the colors that I use today mean absolutely nothing. You can use whatever colors you want, okay? I'm going to use green for my pathogen because green reminds me of mucus, which reminds me of bacteria. So in the middle is where I will draw the pathogen, because the pathogen is the stimulus for both processes. So I'll draw it in the middle. This is going to be a virus, and it wants to destroy you. Did you say aw? You should be. Okay. So this is a virus. This is actually kind of how they look, minus the face. It's not cute. It's terrifying. A little bit.
I would be scared of her too.
So I put some examples of pathogens down below. Usually your non-specific defenses, such as the hairs in your nose, the mucous lining of your nose, your esophagus, the fever effect, the skin on your body will all protect you against these pathogens. Unfortunately, though, if there were a breach in any of those defenses, then these two processes would start. So let's say you have a cut or a splinter. The virus would enter into your skin, and now we've got to start these two processes. So I'm just going to draw down below. If a pathogen does manage to get inside of the body somehow, usually one of the immune cells will kind of approach it and try to figure out what it is. It's not always going to be a macrophage, but it usually is a macrophage. So I'm going to draw a large macrophage with yellow, and it's going to look kind of familiar, but this is not Pac-Man. See, it's a little bit different. It's rounded. This macrophage that is not Pac-Man, its job is to phagocytize the virus. Phagocytize means it will absorb the virus into its body. So we're going to draw the virus inside of the mouth area here. They don't actually have a mouth. They're just a huge blob. It'll absorb the virus through that process called phagocytosis. And so we're going to draw a couple of pathogens inside of the macrophage to show that it has phagocytized a couple of them. Macrophages, along with a couple of the other leukocytes, what they do is once they phagocytize a pathogen, they want to tell all of the other immune systems. They want to warn all of the other immune systems like, hey, this is a pathogen that is currently infecting the body. So they will do something called present. They'll present what they have found. The way they present is after they eat the pathogen, they rip it up, and then they spit it back out and stick it to their sides. So you know how like there are those like tribal cultures or whatever, where once they kill their enemy, they'll like use their skulls and bones and make necklaces out of them, or they'll like showcase like, oh, this is what the people that we have killed so far. That's what the macrophages do. They want to tell all the other cells like, oh, we ate this this pathogen, and now this is what we should all start hunting. So I'm gonna draw a little, kind of, yeah. So I'm gonna draw a little Y-shaped protein on the outside of the macrophage, and so the little bit of green right here is a piece of the pathogen that was broken down inside of the macrophage. So the macrophage will do phagocytosis. And then they will present the pathogen. Other cells can present pathogens as well, or even antigens they can present, and they're called antigen-presenting cells. In this example in particular, we have macrophage presenting. After the macrophage will present this, or phagocytizes the cell, it'll have this piece stuck to it and it'll wander around, and it will actually probably bump into a helper T cell. So I'm going to use red for my helper T, and I'm going to use red very, very lightly. And I'm going to go ahead and draw in a large round nucleus, since this is a lymphocyte after all. And I'm going to go ahead and label this as a helper T cell. There are quite a few different types of helper Ts, and most of them will produce something called cytokines. So cytokines are little proteins. So on the right side, I'm going to draw an arrow. On the left side, I'm going to draw another arrow. And I'm going to draw in some cytokines. And cytokines are very small little molecules, so I'm just going to make a whole bunch of dots. Who? Oh yeah, the guy with the corpus callosum severed? What's his name, Brian? Practice, Aisha. Discipline of the mind.
She was so quiet. She has nimble little hands.